Hello.
Hi, Joel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mia?
And there is sound. Just a little FYI, folks. We didn't have sound on that video. We kind of faked everybody out, didn't we?
Gotta have a little drama when you got 121 people waiting to see a webinar.
I like to say we just like to keep everyone on their toes. So, welcome to J Goot Village. I love it's written right here, a free community where we teach anyone, and we mean anyone, even me, the basics of how to travel anywhere in the world for free. That's a lot of free there, isn't there?
Yes, it is. And that's probably why so many people kind of think this is
Not
not
free.
real or a scam or a pyramid scheme. If we ever have a picture of a pyramid, heaven
Like
forbid.
like last week. So we were joking that that is Maslow's hierarchy. He was making triangles and pyramids cool long before pyramid schemes came along, folks. That was a great show last week. If you
That
missed it,
was
make sure
record attendance.
it was record attendance. You had a record lot of things to say, and I think we're going to try and break that record this week, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. We're going to dive a little deeper into what we introduced last week. So we talked about, why having transfer partners is so important and how valuable that could be. But we still had a lot of questions from people that said, "What about this? What about that?" So we're going to dive deeper and talk about that because this really is, what we're going to share today is the simplest, easiest way to literally multiply the value of your points by 300 to 500%. And no one believes this. And I'll show you kind of some numbers of what you see, what Chase wants you to see, what Amex wants you to see. And then we'll talk about how you can go and increase the value of those points. And we'll show you examples of how and where you can do that.
So take some notes, get your notepad, some quick housekeeping real quick. Visit streamyard.com/Facebook. That way we can see your comments, such as Kimberly, which is great. And we're not sure who this is. Excited to continue learning. We are too. So if you want to go to streamyard.com/Facebook so we can see your comments. However, just so you know, just like last week, we probably won't do as many comments because you have so many things to tell us, right?
Yeah, I tried to leave a little bit more room for questions this time. So hopefully
Okay.
we can get to that. So
Awesome. And are we
we'll
doing a giveaway today too?
we are several, unlimited actually.
Ooh.
So we'll have one surprise question. It's a difficult one. You will need calculators.
Oh boy.
Um,
Not
and
math.
and then we're going to give unlimited savings cards away for anyone who goes and takes 5 minutes. So anyone who's watching, we're going to show you how to increase the value of your Chase points. If you don't have Chase points, we're going to show you how to go and get some in about 5 minutes. So,
And I love
and
that
we
you
will
did
give
this.
away a savings card to
Okay.
anyone who follows those steps.
And if you're curious about what's included in the savings card, you can go to jgoot.com/savings card. Joel made a little handy landing page for us on that because I know some people have questions about it. But great. This is probably the most giveaways we're gonna give away in a while. So you ready to jump in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
So, last week we talked about two types of flexible points. Chase flexible points and Amex flexible points. They both are called ultimate rewards or membership rewards. And it's very important that you know the difference. We had a lot of people that said, "Oh, I just logged in and I can't transfer my Chase United points. Those aren't membership rewards. I can't transfer my Delta Amex points. Those aren't membership rewards." So it's very important that you have one of these cards. These are the cards that earn membership rewards or ultimate rewards. And these are the very valuable flexible points that we recommend anyone who wants to travel the Jagoot way earn. In fact, if you are ever interested in our paid coaching program, you're not eligible unless you are willing to get one of each of these cards. That's how important that is. And I'll show you an example, a basic, easy layup example today. So, we often talked about them both. Sure, you can do this with card pointers, not card pointers, with Capital One. You can do this with Citi thank you points, but they're a lot more difficult to work with. So we recommend that everyone start with these cards. And most people never even need other forms of cards. That's how powerful these are. And I'm going to show you some examples of that today. So we're not talking about Amex today. We're talking about Chase, and specifically cards that earn transferable ultimate rewards points. A Freedom card is great for certain reasons, but that's kind of more of a backup option after you have one of these two cards. A Chase Sapphire card, either the preferred or the reserve, or one of several Chase Ink cards. Those earn those valuable ultimate rewards that we're talking about. Why are these so valuable? Well, you could have a Chase United card, but it only works on United. You could have a Chase Southwest card, only works on Southwest, and those are very mediocre points. Those aren't worth anything near what I'm about to show you today. So again, flexible points that you can be a free agent. Spend them where those points will take you the farthest. So we showed a screenshot of this last week. Side note, I don't know if anybody recalls the number from last week, but it was about 19,000 points less. My statement came through, and basically we earned about 20,000 points last month. No sign-up bonuses, no major gymnastics, just lots of earning multipliers. We spent about $6,000. We earned about 19,000 points last month on our personal Chase cards. Not bad.
And how much did you spend, Joel?
About 6,000. So
Okay.
that's about a 3.5 multiplier. So remember, there are earning multipliers, earn more points for every dollar you spend, and there are redemption multipliers. That's kind of like you get to earn a lot of points and then you flip them and get even more. So, a hotel that costs 9,000 points a night, you might only spend $3,000 on average credit card stuff to get a free hotel night. And I'll show you a lot more of the breakdown of why you want to use transfer partners instead of the travel portal. So what you're looking at now, Chase goes out of their way to say, spend your points with us. Your 211,000 points are worth $3,100 or $3,200. I even got a brochure last week in the mail saying, happy anniversary, you've been with us 6 years or whatever it was. And they custom printed a brochure that said, your points are worth X amount. Here's how you can spend them with us. So they want you to spend at this penny and a half redemption rate, because then they get those points back and they get to go and lure someone else into their program. And I showed this last week, or I discussed this last week, and basically that's the fox guarding the hen house. You don't want to spend where Chase or Amex advise that you spend. So in other words, you don't want to spend for cash back. You don't want it to use your points towards dining. You do not want to get gift cards. All of these are going to be limited to 0.5 cents to 1.5 cents each. No more, no less. And it's funny because, we know a lot of people that say, I have the CSR, so I get 1.5x instead of 1.25. That's nothing. That's nothing compared to what you can do with this magic little link right here, transfer to travel partners. So in a nutshell, you don't want to buy an Apple computer through Chase. You'll get a penny and a half or 1.25 cents a piece. Every single one of these will be limited in value. This transfer partner, however, is worth a lot more. So last week we compared why we like Hyatt so much more than Hilton. Let's just focus on Hyatt. So I picked several destinations that are, popular destinations among our subscribers. We have a ton of Denver subscribers because we've been in business over 6 years, and I started solely in Denver. We also have a ton of residents in LA area and the Bay Area of California. So I picked, just areas you could go and do a staycation this weekend if you have Chase points or if you have Hyatt points. But again, remember, you want Chase points that can transfer to Hyatt because you might find a better deal on a different airline. Sometimes you might find a better deal with a hotel. So you want to keep them with Chase, transfer them as needed when you can get those values. So these columns are a little different than they were last week. But basically, this is what 98% of people know that their points are worth. So CSP stands for Chase Sapphire Preferred. CSR stands for Chase Sapphire Reserve. So this is the cheap one, $100 a year. This is the expensive one, $550 a year. By the way, in our free guide, we talk about the differences between the two. If you text free guide to our support line, we'll send you a copy if you haven't read it. That also has steps to take if you get declined. That comes up. We're going to cover that later after I give the challenge to go and get a Chase card.
And I just popped that up there at the bottom, y'all. So text your
good.
name and free guide to 720-706-7999. You'll see us give this information quite a bit on different calls to action. It's always the same number, but we want your name and what you're looking for. So that's what Joel just mentioned.
Yeah. So just for simplicity's sake, I just kind of used an estimate of an average $300 a night hotel. That looks great. You know, people say, oh yeah, we stayed for free for 24,000 points with a Chase Sapphire Preferred, or, oh, we stayed for free for 20,000 points with a Reserve. And the bottom line is those are worth no more and no less than 1.25 cents a piece if you're with the Preferred, and they're worth no more than 1.5 cents a piece if you're with the Reserve. Not bad. I mean, that'll get you 9 nights at a $300 a night hotel. It'll get you 11 nights at a $300 hotel if you have the Reserve. And that's like, this is the value. Notice that Chase, when they wanted me to spend it, this is that $31.67. That's that penny and a half that they would give me. Like, I could get a statement credit right now for $3,100. Or I could redeem it for hotels. I could redeem it for an Apple computer or whatever. That sounds great. And most people think, yeah, I got the points game covered. I get plenty of points, but they're only redeeming them at a penny and a half a piece. Where the real value is these transfer partners. So I sorted these in order of value, and value varies. We're going to talk about that later. But San Francisco, expensive place to stay at a hotel, average night, or not average. I picked one that was a good value. 333 a night, 12,000 points. Remember last week we showed where Hilton and Marriott and IHG wanted 40 to 150,000 points for a $250 hotel. So remember, not all points are equal and not all redemptions are equal. That's a very, very important lesson in the world of traveling for free. Just because it's free does not mean it was a good value. So you're going to hold out for those high values. So yeah, San Francisco, $333 place, 12,000 points. That's a pretty good redemption. That's almost over double a CSP, almost double the Sapphire Reserve. So now I've talked about like this, you know, you could take that $3,100 and put it in a mutual fund with Berkshire Hathaway. Warren Buffett can't touch that because it would take him 10 or 12 years to double that money.
That's our Easter egg moment, by the way, waiting when Joel throws down the gauntlet at Warren Buffett. Right. And that happened again.
One of these
week.
days,
he's going to come
respond.
on the show. Get the box.
And hey, you know, I mean, I'm giving kudos. They're very solid, very good investors, and they can do great things with your money. You can't do the same thing. You can't double your money overnight by just transferring them to Hyatt and getting $5,800 in value. So instantly you're getting 18 nights instead of 9 or 11 for a more expensive room. Likewise, here in Denver, we got a ton of subscribers in Denver. You want to go have a staycation? Piece of cake, $260. That's a pretty nice hotel. 9,000 points. That's a 3-cent redemption that could be 23 nights for those same 211,000 points that I'm sitting on, for a total value of $6,200 instead of $3,167. Gets better in Los Angeles. I found a $400 place, 9,000 points. These are those. It's funny you mentioned Easter egg. One of our clients just last week said, this is like adult Easter egg hunting. And that's exactly what this is. Like, all of these values are out there. And when people talk about being point hoarders, it's because they're hoarding their points for these big redemptions that are double, triple, quintuple, tenfold what you can get out of the Chase Travel Portal.
You really said something great when you said just because it's free doesn't mean it's a good value.
Exactly.
And this right here is a perfect way. I know, and it's hard to turn your mind around it, but looking at this chart is a great way to get your mind beginning to wrap around it.
Yeah, so these are 5 different examples of how I can spend my 211,000 points that I grabbed a screenshot of that this morning. Like, I could go cash them out for $3,100, or I could wait and have the discipline to redeem them for high value and get 10 grand out of those same points. And this is the easy stuff, folks. Like, this is easy math, easy transfers, goes straight to Hyatt. You don't need it. They're not hard to find, and we're going to show you. Just know the value of your points and don't waste them on free iPads. Don't waste them on free gift cards. Don't waste them on statement credits. Save them for where they have true value.
And can you go back one slide real quick so we can look at how tempting it is? Like, see how they have all these options too. So again, appreciate everything that's X'd out. And we're just going to look at transfer to travel partners and rewards activity. And then notice how it does say transfer to travel partners. That's the difference. And then we'll look at the next slide when you say that, see how the difference, like flip over to the next one.
Yeah.
And you talk about,
quick, like, so this is tempting too. Everyone thinks, oh, well, yeah, I use it for travel. That's where you only get $2,600 worth of value or $3,100 worth of value.
That's the travel portal we're talking about. I know.
It's not.
That's one of the first things I had to learn too, because it is so tempting. That feels like this natural thing to just go right through there. And that's where transferring to the travel partners. There you go.
So I said 3 to 5 times, increase the value by 3 to 5 times. I actually showed you more like 2 to 4. Now, every once in a while, there are these golden nuggets. And this is what we point hoarders hold out for. So I went and I found another one. I announced this to our private group this morning when I got this, or earlier this afternoon when I got the screenshot, because this might just disappear after I announce this today. We only have a mere 50,000 subscribers. This is an example of when, like, the points guy announces it, they disappear. So I went and looked up. Didn't even take that long. I just decided to try and find a place that would be really expensive. Because here's the other thing. Points are typically fixed. So they're with Hyatt, points are fixed based on the category of a hotel. So if it's a category 1, 3,500 to 5,000 points, depending on peak season or off season. If it's category 7, that's going to be more like 35 to 45,000 points. So they have, but they don't fluctuate. They're either available or they're not, and they don't fluctuate in value. So when supply is low and demand is high, like on, say, New Year's Eve in New York, costs are going to be sky high. But remember, point values don't fluctuate. So what if you want to stay in not only stay in New York, but do that on New Year's Eve? Really expensive, right?
Wow.
$3,800 a night for the Park Hyatt New York. Go to Hyatt.com, look it up. It's available right now for $3,800 for the bargain price, $3,800 a night. 45,000 points. I mean, so do you ever have one of those times where you're just really frustrated and you booked your flights because maybe you got a good deal, and all of a sudden you look at lodging and costs are astronomical? This is where points can be a great backup plan.
Right.
And this only works if you have the right points, if you've been amassing the right points. So this is another thing I hear a lot of people say, oh, these are great tips. I'll check them out when I'm ready to plan a trip. That's when you realize, crap, I wish I started collecting those points 6 months ago. So,
Right.
don't think of this as something you're going to try next time you plan a trip. By that time, it's too late. You need to amass these points every day. You need to think about how to earn 10 points instead of 5 points. Remember, I earned 20,000 points last month from less than 7,000 in spend. So, more than 3 points per dollar spent average. And that's because, I'm careful about where I redeem them. Or I'm careful about where I spend. And
Where you
sometimes I'll
spend.
get 10, 20, 30 cents or 30 points per dollar spent instead of a boring 1 penny or 1 point per dollar.
And that was your average spend. So that's the interesting thing too. We preach, and here's where I go into what we say every time. We're not talking about spending outside of your budget. This is what you
Yeah,
had spent on things, groceries, gas, restaurants, any kind of, just regular shopping. So
exactly.
we are definitely not talking about running up a bunch of money just in order to get the points. That's the absolute opposite.
Now, remember last week, if you didn't see our webinar last week, text travel slush fund to our support line. You can see it there at 720-706-7999. But just text travel slush fund. We'll send you the replay of that. But what Mia was just talking about is called manufactured spend. That's what a lot of people do. They churn and they go and buy purses at TJ Maxx and resell them on eBay. They buy gift cards and resell them. Do all this stuff to manufacture spend, which is a royal pain. And when you have the right foundation of cards and you know how to just earn more on everyday normal stuff, you don't have to do all those stupid gymnastics. Just earn 3 or 4 times more for every dollar you spend. Remember, if you earn 3.3 times more for every dollar you spend, and then you redeem for 3.3 times more, which I just showed you how to do, you're putting 10 cents back in your pocket for every single dollar that you spend on credit cards. That's 500% better than a 2% cashback card. It's just simple math. Those two things: earn more points, redeem more points, or redeem more for those points.
And I just put that at the bottom. So just text your name and travel slush fund to that number, 720-706-7999.
So let's have a giveaway. Ooh. This is that complicated one. This is going to be the most complicated one we've done. This will be a reward for our members who take lots of notes and know these rules inside and out. So if I were to cash out all my points and just saved them for New Year's every year in New York at $3,800, how much would that be worth to me? So multi-part question. We're not going to wait for everyone. We'll go and we'll come back to this because it's a big number, and we're looking for a correct answer.
I have no idea, but I'm really excited to know it. And can I just mention real quick, I see a couple of you commenting travel slush fund. We don't do that anymore. We're sending it to you because we can't respond in comments, or it kind of gets a little spammy. So just text your name and travel slush fund to 720-706-7999. Can I tell you something? We never sell your info. We even said that. In case people think we actually sell their info to somebody else.
Oh,
We
right.
don't.
Yeah.
It's just for us. So I don't know what the answer is, but I'm waiting for Brooke to tell me who the correct one was.
We'll come back.
We'll come back. Okay, well, you said that. We'll come back. Yeah.
Let's kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So now, hopefully you guys see how easy this is. There's nothing in this for us. We're saying go and get some chase points because those are easier to work with. Why do we do that? Why do we tell people that for free? Because the clients that already have lots of chase points, by the time they come to work come to us for our paid coaching program, we can do exponentially more for them, because this is easy stuff. Like getting 3 to 5, maybe 7 or 8 cents per point, easy. The airlines is where it gets really fun. That's where you can get 10, 20, 30 cents per point. In other words, my $211,000, if I can get 10 cents, is worth not $3,000, but 20 grand, 21 actually. So it's this is all about redemption multipliers. So challenge number 2, if you don't have chase points, my challenge to you right now is to go and get some. It literally takes 5 minutes. Here's another objection we get. People say, "Oh, I need to research that. I need to go, figure out yada yada yada." That's you're making a mountain out of a molehill. The Jagoot way recommends 2 types of cards, and we typically recommend starting with chase first. Why? Because it's a lot easier to work with, as I hopefully just demonstrated. Like that Hyatt trick alone is worth, it will triple the value of your chase points. If you're sitting on 200,000 chase points, they are now worth $5,000 to $7,000 instead of the $2,000 to $3,000 that Chase will give you. So,
and I just popped this in the bottom. We have a lot of that information in this free guide, including like helping to build your credit score, and all these tips that Joel just mentioned too. So, same, text your name and free guide to this number 720-706-7999, and then you've got jagoot.com/cards.
Yep.
I do have the winner, by the way, whenever you're ready.
Cool. Well, yeah, we've got a screen for that.
Okay, good.
And I'll show the breakdown of how we arrive at that.
Nice.
So for anyone who wants to accept this challenge during this live stream, got to make sure you have a credit score of at least 650. If you don't have that, don't apply. You probably won't be approved. Make sure you're not applying for a home loan. And if you want to get the card, check with your mortgage lender first. And then make sure that you responsibly spend at least $1,300 a month. Spend less than that, and it would be a stretch. And we have a backup option for that in our guide. So if this doesn't fit for you, don't apply. Don't worry. We've got plenty more opportunities to earn savings cards. But if this does apply to you and you don't have a Chase card, you don't have those extremely valuable Chase points, we will ethically bribe you to go and do it. So anyone who shows a screenshot of the "you're approved" screen that pops up after you apply, pop it into the comments and we'll send you a $100 travel savings card. It's that easy. Somewhere on our website, you can find a testimonial from my mother-in-law. I had been telling her for 2 years, just go get a card. And she finally did it and said exactly that. It took her 5 minutes. So,
little pro tip also, you won't be able to add any screenshots until after the broadcast is done, and there will be a replay of this. So if for some reason you have to leave in the middle of this, don't worry. As soon as it's done, you'll be able to go back and watch it from the beginning. I know I have to watch these shows several times, and I'm the host along with you.
But you should be able to paste a comment with a picture of the screenshot.
I
won't see it.
Yeah, I believe it may not happen until after. If you can, that's great. Let me know. That happens with my live streams through StreamYard at times too.
Okay.
So either way, you're winning. Either one of us being right. Right.
So yeah, it takes 5 minutes to apply. We will give a $100 savings card to anyone who does it during this live stream. If you can't comment it, go ahead and email it to support@justgetoutoftown.
And let's make sure
you
we
don't
know
trust us yet and you don't want to use our link, go to chase.com. Google Chase Sapphire Reserve and they'll go straight through Chase. That's fine. It'd be nice if you use jagoot.com/cards because our experts get referral bonuses and we all love getting points. But if you're brand new and you don't trust us and you think there's something weird about that, fine, go to chase.com. We just want you to get the points because this is why we teach this stuff for free. We earn your trust. We show you how easy this stuff is and that most people are overcomplicating it. And then when you're ready for more, we can add a 0 to what you can save from our free group.
And when you go to jagoot.com/cards, that's where all of the links are too. So make sure to check that out. And then we'll have the links to applying for that card. That's a great giveaway, Joel. I like that one.
Yeah, kind of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when I say for the math challenge, when I say add a 0, our goal is to show you how to save $3,000, $5,000, maybe $10,000 in just free travel that you can use as a slush fund however you like in our free group. Apply the strategies. Don't worry about what we have to sell in our paid program. Apply the free strategies, verify that they work for you, and we can talk about our paid program later. And when I say add a zero instead of $3 to $5 grand, we can show you how to get $30,000 to $50,000 in free travel. And we have plenty of members who have done that.
Brooke from above just confirmed that there are no screenshots
Oh,
until
my
after the
mistake.
live.
I apologize.
No
So-
worries. I know we're all learning, but just she's going to keep an eye out for it too, y'all. So just make sure to go ahead and screenshot it, or you can also email her at support@justgetoutoftown.com. We always have alternatives to everything, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So come back to our answer. I saw a lot
Yep.
of accurate answers. And we'll give it to the first one who was within a few $100.
And
But
Brooke
yes.
from above says it's Matt Huber. So congratulations, you won a travel
Ooh.
savings card. So she will get in touch with you as well, or you can reach out to her at the email we just mentioned, support@justgetoutoftown.com. Look at that. Wow. 17,860.
So do you want $3,100 that Chase will give you as a statement credit, or do you want to hoard those points for a big redemption like this and treat yourself to something lavish that you probably would never spend real hard-earned cash on? It's a personal choice. Some people might say they'll take the cash. I know people who will buy those points from you instead of taking the cash. They're that valuable.
Right.
So, and here's that breakdown. So just comparing it, $3,800 a night, 45,000 points. That's an 8.5 cent redemption. That's what we're hoarding our points for. Now, that's only going to get me 5 nights instead of 23. But again, this is kind of like an example of lavish things we get to give ourselves that we might not spend real cash on. That's what you join JQ Lounge for. Like I've flown in $5,000, $7,000, $12,000 flights one way that I'd never spend hard-earned cash on, but I will gladly give away points for them and for my whole family. So this is an example of those types of things. Like you can be practical with them, and even if you're doing that, you're going to get twice as much out of them. It's about being wise with how you redeem your points and getting rid of the mindset of what it's free. Like that's a great value. Not if you could have had 3 to 5 times more for free. So that's kind of what we're trying to demonstrate here.
Who knew you could make free more valuable?
So let's talk about a very, very important lesson with this. Like, and this is, if nothing else, even Hyatt, not all of their redemptions are great values like that. Some are mediocre. Very few are poor redemptions, but they have varying degrees of how valuable they are. So the most important thing is to know the value of your points. Now, different rules apply if you have Marriott or United or Delta and so on. If you're very loyal to an individual brand, like an airline or a hotel, text us bad points and we will send you a report that shows and compares and contrasts things you can do with flexible point cards, ultimate rewards and membership rewards versus any individual airline or hotel, including Hyatt. I mean, I love Hyatt, but sometimes there are even better values out there. But you don't have that luxury if you're stuck with one individual brand. It's all about being able to be a free agent and spend your points where they will go the farthest.
I saw a couple people comment about that with bad points. So make sure to text your name and bad points to 720-706-7999. That'll be really helpful for you.
And just to be clear on that, Facebook does, I mean, I can't count the comments here, but it's in the hundreds already for sure. And Facebook gets they start blocking us. They start blocking the message. It can't get through to you. So this is why we text.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. We're going to send you the guide and we'll send you more guides. Depending on what guide you ask for, we'll send complimentary guides that go with that. Anytime that doesn't interest you anymore, just reply with stop and we'll stop. We're required to by law. So will you get on a list? Yeah. It's with lots of valuable information like this that we think will help you. And the sole goal of that is not to sell you our big expensive program. It's to show you how easy this can be if you quit worrying about what we're trying to sell you and just apply it.
Joel, does that get them on the list for reminders for our show on Mondays?
It would. You would get a text alert. If you give us your phone number, in addition to the guide that you requested and some follow-up, you'll also get alerted every time we go live in our Facebook group. Good question.
Thank you.
So always know the value of your points. So we teach two different rules, one for the math people and one for the math challenged. The first is called the penny per point rule. And it's literally just, and this should always be done. Anytime you're thinking of redeeming points, you want to know their value before you spend them. And so it's literally just the cost of the flight or hotel that you're looking at. And quite frankly, it's really only worthwhile for flights or hotels. You do it for cruises, you're not going to get more than a penny and a half or two. You can do it for other things, but they all kind of fall into that low value. So do this for flights or hotels. Anytime you're tempted to redeem your points to say that it's free, make sure that you know the value per point. So cost divided by the points required gives you the value per point. And this is worth doing a little quick screen grab or writing these numbers down. What you're aiming for is, at least okay value. But really, you're looking for good, great, or amazing because they're out there all the time. I showed you examples today that you could go and book right now. And you want to avoid ever redeeming those points for less than a penny and a half a piece. So, and we call it the penny per point rule because that's just easy math that you can do in your head. I'll show you that in a minute. And just know that like a penny plus or minus a half a cent is never a good redemption. Don't waste those valuable flexible points for less than that.
Bailey, I like the thermometer too. Doesn't it help your brain kind of process it a little bit? I think for most of us, bad to okay is where we have all sat for a long time.
And you know what's fun about this is we came up with this after someone posted a free hotel that they were very, very happy with. And hey, free is free. It's always great. But we were like, that was an expensive redemption. And we brainstormed and came up with like a visual that helps you kind of just really sink in those values. And so, grab this screenshot, print it out, pin it up on your wall, just memorize these rules.
We'll call that an expensive free.
Yeah.
Right. Pricey free.
So if it's bad, just pay cash. Just know that you're holding on to those points for those big, lavish redemptions or those, 2 or 3 or 4 cent redemptions for a hotel that's still more expensive than you want to pay. And those are great times for points. That's exactly what they're for. Doesn't mean you need to hold out for 10 cent or more redemptions. Those are unicorns that are hard to come by. Those are what we have private Facebook groups to share those secret deals before they disappear, and so on. And so for the math challenged, we like to call this the move the decimal rule. No math involved, just move the decimal. Cross out the last 2 zeros.
Yep.
And this is your baseline. So if something takes 50,000 points, that's basically $500 worth of points minimum. So you should, if it's a $300 hotel, don't spend 50,000 points on it. Save them. Pay cash, save your points, because you can get 1,000, 2,500, $5,000 out of 50,000 points once you know what you're doing.
Joel, let me give a quick shout out to Diane Cook-Paterick. Congrats.
All right. Congratulations.
Woo-hoo. Exciting.
Good job. So go ahead and, if you do that, since screenshots aren't allowed, just send that to support@justgetoutoftown.com. Send a screenshot.
Great numbers.
So pretty straightforward. Let's just bring this home with how to transfer those points. So always look up first, like whatever program you're looking at, Hyatt, Marriott, Hilton, United, Southwest, any airline partner that is a part of Chase's program or Amex's program. We're just talking about Chase today. always look up how many points it would take on their individual site. Just like that New York screenshot, that was a screenshot from Hyatt.com. Write down how much it costs, write down the point value. If it passes the penny per point rule, if it passes the move the decimal test, if it's a good redemption, then you literally just log into your Chase account, go to ultimaterewards.com instead of Chase. This is where your points are stored. And they even have instructions for you on how to transfer them. And it just comes from this drop down, pretty straightforward. Look for that transfer partner. Line up your World of Hyatt membership number, your Southwest membership number, your Marriott number, any of the 12 transfer partners that they have. Transfer your points. Most of these, it's instant. I've literally transferred them, refreshed my screen on Hyatt, and the points are there and I can spend them. So verify that penny per point rule. Verify the value before you waste those cherished points. Once you do it, transfer them, and there you go.
I don't know if you heard that, but Gidget the Frenchie was very impressed with that just now. When you get the Gidget bark, you know you're in. So
I always love when I can impress Gidget.
That's amazing, though, and it really is fast. And I've changed hotels as well, and just said, "Oh, I don't want to go to this one," and transferred it back, and it's pretty instantaneous as well. Have you found that too, Joel?
Yeah, I've literally done it like literally as fast as I can. I hit submit, and then I refresh Hyatt. You know, and it set however many points I had before, it goes up by that amount.
Can I pop this in here real quick? You might not have heard this before, but why wouldn't you just buy it through your Chase portal? Can we just go back through that again? That's great.
So if you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred, if you redeem it through you can, and you'll get exactly, like if you had 211,000 points like me, you'd get exactly 2,600. So if you have 100,000 points, you'd get exactly 12,500. No more, no less. Seems great. 98% of the traveling population is perfectly fine doing that. But all of these are examples of what you can do with the exact same points by transferring them out to a transfer partner who will take less points. And so would you rather have 2,600 through the travel portal? No more, no less. If you have a CSR, Sapphire Reserve, would you rather have 3,100 or 17,000? 3,100, 9,600, 3,100, 5,800. These are just sitting there for the taking on Hyatt.com. So you can be lazy and book straight through the travel portal. It's convenient. But this way you get to book with the hotel. If you have a problem, you deal with the hotel. By transferring it to United, you book with United. If you have a problem, you contact United. If you book through Chase, that basically goes through a third party, and it's an entirely different treatment. It's an entirely different process. So there are multiple reasons, aside from value, that you want to transfer those points out of Chase or out of Amex directly to the transfer partner that you want to use.
I think that's something we miss a lot too, is the difference between the portal, where you pay or, check out your balance, and the Ultimate Rewards portal.
Yeah. And again, Chase wants you to do this because they want those points back. Then they get to recycle them rather than buy more, because they buy billions of points from the airlines and hotels. Why? So they can lure people in and get their credit card, because they know that most people are going to do this like 2 or 3 times in a lifetime. And if they can just lure them over, if they could lure you over with their sign-up bonus, they've got you for life. So they're glad to buy lots of points to say, ooh, you can do all these fancy things. But then they don't show you the fancy things that you can do. You have to find those for yourself.
I wonder if people from the credit cards are going to start following you in unmarked cars, Joel. Like this guy. And this guy's telling all of our secrets.
Well, I think they're bigger targets than me. The points guys. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, I announced this to 50,000 subscribers. That New Year's Eve deal might disappear very soon.
Yeah.
The points guy announces that to 20 million subscribers. Those deals are gone. So that's one of the things we teach in our paid program. We teach you how to find these deals yourself versus waiting until someone publishes it to their millions of readers, and then those deals disappear.
Let's stop for a quick commercial break. Speaking of that, for J Goot Lounge, that's what Joel's talking about. So you can get guaranteed strategies to travel in luxury for budget prices. Text your name, same numbers, to 720-706-7999. And that's a free coaching call. We really want to actually see if it's a fit for us to teach you, because it's not a fit for everyone, our lounge. Right?
Yeah. And why don't we just wrap up with this? So
Okay.
here we
All right.
are, J
This
Goot
one.
Village. Everything we teach is free. So this is how everyone travels. This is 100% of the traveling population and 100% of the seats on planes. Some are with cash, some are expensive, some are cheap, some are with points. It's all seats on planes and all hotels. This is how people who redeem with the travel portal. This is how 98% of people spend their points, through the travel portals, or they get gift cards or whatever. Those are still people you're competing with when you're looking for these points deals. This is what we teach here in the village. We teach you to
Can you
beat
use your
all of
pointer,
these
Joel,
people.
so we can see what you're talking about? Can you use your
What's
pointer?
oh, sorry,
there
I
it
was
is.
looking at the
Okay.
wrong screen. So this, general population with points, who are also your competitors. This is what we teach for free here in the village. Totally applicable for, coach flights, really good 3-star hotels, or maybe one lavish 4 or 5-star hotel. Basically, we're teaching you to beat these people by getting those seats for a lot less points, so you can earn less points and get a lot more out of them. Hopefully with an example like what I just showed you today. This is our paid group, J Goot Lounge. This is for people who are tired of traveling in coach and want to do it in business class. I'll admit it, it's not cheap. It's hands-on coaching. We're helping you reach your goals of never having to fly in coach again. It's not cheap because it's not easy. It takes personal support. If we were promising an easy button, then this would be a $97 ebook.
Mhm.
And if it were an easy button, the points guy would have already put the airlines and hotels out of business a long time ago. So it does take some work. It does take some strategy. You have to earn more points. You have to learn how to stretch those points farther. And that's what we teach in J Goot Lounge. If you're interested in that, text interested to our support line, and one of our coaches will set up a free coaching call and see how we can help. If we think it's a fit, great. If not, we will send you one of our dozens of free resources that will get you up to the point where it would be a fit.
So I have that at the bottom. And then I love this comment from Anthony. That's one of our coaches. Because of our minimum of $10,000 in free travel guarantee, we personally interview all of our potential clients to make sure our paid membership is a mutual fit. So like he's saying here, it's a 10 to 15 minute call. And if it's not a fit for you, we have so many resources like this show every week, which, speaking of which, I'm going to pop this up here. If you didn't see last week's show, just text your name and travel slush fund to 720-706-7999. We'll send you a copy to our show last week. They paired together nicely this week and last week, just so you know, like a fine wine.
I kind of
Fine wine
figured
and fine meal.
we got a lot of questions about, well, how do I transfer? So this, we finished that and just focused on Hyatt. But hopefully those gave you some good examples of A, how to find the deals, and B, how to transfer the points when you do find them. Just remember, don't ever transfer them first. Transfer them after you've verified the value of those points.
So I am going to pull up some comments, and then did you see any questions you want to answer right now? If not, I'll go ahead and.
I haven't even been looking, but if you want to pull some up, I can answer them.
Okay. I just want to give Justin a shout out. He has 350,000 plus chase points, and he'd love to 3 to 5 times those. So definitely.
Yeah. Hyatt is one of many tricks. I'll be honest, the airlines get a lot trickier, especially when you're looking for those business and first class seats. But we have a calculator that you can set up a free coaching call. So if you're still not interested in our paid program, if you've just started following us, then just comment free coaching and send that to 720-706-7999. We'll set up a free coaching call. It's 10, 15 minutes. We actually, like we do an analysis of all the points you have, because flexible points are worth a certain minimum that we can show you how to get. Individual airline and hotel cards, they still have some value, but not as much, and we can calculate that for you, so you know what kind of potential you're sitting on. And we do all that during our free coaching call. And if that's all you need, if you just visit Vegas once a year and you don't travel other than that, we won't take your money. Feel free to milk our free program for all you can until you are traveling more. And you can talk about all of that on your free coaching call.
Yes. Let's see. We have Brooke. Actually, I think this is her question. She said she booked all 4 of us to Chicago over fall break in first class, round trip for 73,000 points. Take out. She's just commenting. Take the 1K status people. You can walk by us and smile and wave as you walk to economy. We talked a lot about that last week too. About that really kind of tough balance that you think if you've got that status that you're automatically going to get that upgrade. And if you're using points, it's going to fly right past you. And I mean, think about these really, oh my gosh, these super busy flights that, these long flights where you're like, oh my God, 11 hours sitting in this tiny little seat.
Yeah. So I mean, I turn 51 next week and I'm too old for coach. If it's longer than a 4-hour flight, I do not fly coach, and I do not depend on status to get that flight. It's far easier to just book it with points and fly there for $100 in taxes and know that I'm going to get the seat. Someone with lifetime titanium status or platinum status or diamond status or whatever won't take that seat from me. It's mine, and they aren't guaranteed it. They're only guaranteed it if other people like me don't get them first. And to me, that's like, I don't need status ever again. If I get it, it's nice, but it's just easier to just be guaranteed the seats with points.
Takes the nail biting out of it. And I got to tell you, I got 6 years on you. This old bitty here, no way. I'm not flying like that anymore. Another Mia. Hi, Mia B. Thompson. Can you do? She was just saying in reference to today. Yeah. Can you do the same thing with airlines?
So this is a very common question, and it's, change is difficult. A lot of the question we get is from people who just say, it's the card that they're comfortable with. It's the card they've had for 20 years. It might be the card that they've saved up a ton of points. But the thing is, and text roulette to our free coaching, and we'll send you our free guide that compares flexible points to any individual airline or any individual hotel, including Hyatt. And how much more powerful it is. And why we call it our roulette report is because it's kind of like the equivalent of like cheating at a roulette table and playing the regular way. Do you want to step up to a table that's got 1 green 00 that wins 1 in 35 times? Or do you want to step up to a roulette table that has like 6 or 8 or 10 green tiles that will win and pay out the same payout? That's the equivalent of like having a flexible card that you can be a free agent versus being an individual with an individual airline or hotel. One, you got to pay whatever their prices are. 1 in 10 times it's a good deal. The other, the other is a good deal. It's got 20 different partners that have a good deal 10% of the time. So like just by being able to be a free agent is exponentially more powerful. So to answer your question, we do not recommend that. And in fact, our guarantee stipulates that you must be willing to switch to at least 1 Chase Sapphire and at least 1 Amex. Most people don't ever need more than that, but we do require that those two, if you don't have them in your wallet already, you need to be willing to get them. And we won't take you as a client. Well, I mean, we'll take you, but we're not going to honor the guarantee.
So usually I can do a new banner at the bottom that says text your name and roulette, but it's a little hard with Miss Thing here at the end. So just text your name and the word roulette to 720-706-7999. Let me see if I have some other. We've got a couple things popping up.
Oh, I know what it was. It's stacking the odds. We have that one. Okay, that one will work too.
Gotcha. Yeah, either one of those two. So,
Sorry for the
someone says,
confusion.
"I love them, but I use card pointers on my computer. I'm not sure." And max rewards on my phone was one comment. Let me see what else we have here
Those are
too.
earning multipliers we teach.
Yes, yes, which I love, love, love. So, how somebody said, "How long does it normally take Chase to approve?" Been on the verifying information for several minutes. It should be a slam dunk.
Okay.
Any comment? Any?
Great question. So
Yeah.
two things happen, and this is very, very common. Sometimes, I mean, I would wait for it to complete, but if it stalls out or whatever, I would just maybe someone can put it in the comments, but I just Google it, and you can Google Chase reconsideration line. So even if you get declined, we never teach to take no for an answer. Usually, even if you get declined, it's a simple solution. Sometimes you've got multiple cards with them and they've already extended all the credit they can. You can shift your credit. You can say, oh, well, why don't we take 5,000 off this other card and add it to my new line?
And
Boom,
what was it
instant
you said?
approval.
Chase reconsideration line?
Yeah. So just
Okay.
Google it. Chase reconsideration line. I'm sure someone can put it in the comments as well. It's an 800 number, and it's, I can't tell you how many people we've said, oh gosh, just call reconsideration. Don't, because they'll tell you like, oh, you'll get an answer in the mail at 14 to 16 days later or whatever. Don't do that. Just call them and find out why.
I like this one. Last question here. Does it make sense to get a Hyatt card for SUB, which is sign up bonus, or just keep adding to your Chase Sapphire preferred?
So here's, most of the blogs out, and this is a struggle for people because most of the blogs will say, yes, go get sign up bonus because it's how you get points in a hurry. But our philosophy on sign up bonuses is, like this is a marathon, not a sprint. What you want is valuable cards, and the sign up bonuses are nice. But what you really want is as few cards as possible that will earn maximum value in the long run. And so there are times where a Hyatt card might make sense. There are times where a Singapore Air card might make sense. But our philosophy is that's an advanced strategy, and until you're getting $20,000 to $50,000 in free travel per year, they're not necessary. There are plenty of ways to take those two core cards, one Chase card, one Amex card, and learn how to get maximum value out of those two cards. And that will be far more powerful and put off chasing sign-up bonuses. That's not something that we encourage as a part of the JGU way.
You see this comment here? Can we talk about the 524 rule real quick? I think that'll pair
Sure.
nicely with this conversation.
So 524 rule is a complicated rule in itself that I prefer to ignore by just saying, just get your Chase cards first, or at least get one. Because the 524 rule, Chase is very stingy with the cards they give away, and they're very jealous. If you've been seeing other people in the recent past, they won't date you. So in other words, if you signed up for a Lowe's card to save 10% on your hardware purchase, that's one card that you got that Chase will no longer give you. So if you've gotten 5 cards in the last 24 months, they consider you a card churner, and they will not give you their credit card.
They'll know.
Chase has a dozen cards that are extremely valuable when redeemed in the right way. Most of them are just very mediocre values if all you're doing is going after the sign-up bonus. They've got a ton of cards that are extremely valuable when you redeem them with an appropriate strategy. So you want to save those 524 slots for those strategic opportunities for the sign-up bonus. We actually have a coach specifically for that. So anytime you get a postcard that says, ooh, Hilton's given 180,000 points away, we can show you how to do far more than that with 100,000 Amex points.
Which is what I love about the lounge too, because if you get something like that and you're tempted, you can just get right in the lounge and ask that question.
Yep.
All right, one more thing, because I mean, I'm not sure who this is, but about 2 weeks ago, I called Chase and had them change the limit amounts to add more to my Chase Sapphire and lower them on my another Chase card, meaning they didn't cancel the other one. They just asked them to, drop it on one and up it on the Sapphire card, which is great, right?
Correct. Because sometimes that might be a reason you get declined. If you have 2 cards and you've been with them and you've upped your credit limit and they've got whatever, call it 20,000 limit on each card, they have an interior number on an interior file on you, and the most they're willing to give you is 40 grand. No problem. Drop your credit limit on one of those cards and apply it towards your new card. And that's a
Excellent.
phone call through the Chase reconsideration line.
All right, awesome. Well, we ready to give our last card away, our $100 travel
Sure.
savings card?
Yeah,
All
let's
right, give me
count up our
drum roll.
comments.
Well, Drew, Brooke says we had 456, so
Woohoo!
we're getting up there. So give me a little drum roll. Number 293, you are lucky winner. Commenter number 293. Brooke will count through and get in touch with you and let you know that you won the travel savings card. Let me pull up this banner for the many people who have won one, because they're going to go ahead and put that information in there. You can go to jgoot.com/savings dash card. And that tells you all the things you can do with that too. And we'd love to hear your comments if you have used them in the past, what you use them for.
Oh, cool.
Kind of
Yeah.
fun to
Great
hear,
idea.
right?
And
So, what do we have going on this week in the lounge or in with
well, we got
Tuesday
our
and so forth?
quarterly meetup coming up. So
Yes.
happy hour happens every week. That's it's an off week, so it's just happy hour, just whatever questions people have, we've got experts on to answer them. And then this weekend, we're all hanging out in Miami. We've got about 40 people who are coming to just hang out. What we found is that most of us are the only one or two in our group of friends who travel as much as we do, and none of our friends get us. None of our
Yeah.
family gets us.
We have to get
They all
together
think we're
to
crazy.
be
So,
seen and heard.
yeah, we go and we hang out with each other and talk travel, share stories, share tips, and just hang out for the weekend.
Fun. And then do you have something going on with Tuesdays then, or do you want to mention that?
Oh yeah, thank you for the reminder.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
we've been trying to start a Teamwork Tuesday. So keep an eye out for a post in the morning. We'll be giving a $100 travel savings card away to whoever can find the best deal using Rule 1 of the JGoot Way. So keep an eye out on a post tomorrow. Start looking for deals that fit Rule 1 and maybe get a jump on things. Because the winner is whoever gets the most likes. So there are two rules. You have to post a deal that passes, that fits the Rule 1 way of the JGoot Way of travel, which is to find great cash deals and go there. And then you also have to vote on someone else's, and whoever gets the most votes wins a travel savings card.
I love that. That's super fun. And yes, this presentation is recorded. So as soon as we're done here and we hit end, you'll be able to watch that again. And again, you are in JGoot Village, and this is what we do every week. We're a free community. We're teaching anyone, as it says, the basics of how to travel anywhere in the world for free. And today you taught us that there are different varying degrees of the value of free, right?
Yes. And it's an extremely important lesson that most people don't get, but hopefully you were able to see like how much more powerful those can be when you know where to spend them. And if that didn't make sense, watch it again. If it didn't make sense, go to jgoot.com and look for our training library. We have dozens of free resources. We also have free coaches. So if any of those don't make sense or you're just not quite putting the pieces together, set up a free call. Our sole goal is to help you get to the next step, wherever that is. And we've broken it down into about 6 steps. First step, $1,000 or $2,000 in free travel. Step 10 is more like 50 to 150,000 in free travel per year. And we teach the first 6 steps for free. So set up a free coaching call. We'll help you get to the next step, wherever that is for you.
And it really is great because we'll talk about what your needs are, not what we think your needs are. So just text your name and free coaching to 720-706-7999. I'm Mia Voss. That's Joel McDonald. Am I pointing the right way? The Travel Yoda. And we'll see you next week. Thanks,
Happy
everybody.
travels.
Thank you. Bye.